Morning, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2022. I'm Sean Bailey, Editor-in-Chief at Horsesmouth, and I'm here with Devin, who runs our advisor client program, our turnkey marketing program. And we're here for the January monthly marketing meeting. In our meetings, we start out discussing topics on sort of take a wide look at marketing in general as it relates to financial advisors and some things to be keeping in mind in the upcoming couple of months. And as we move through our discussion, we narrow it down and start talking specifically about the advisor client turnkey marketing program. So Devin, welcome back. It is a new year, and I think more than any year, this year we're emphasizing action, making things happen. So let's talk a little bit about, the importance of having a marketing plan. I mean, what's wrong with just, throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks?
Well, we know that that strategy is actually the strategy of the majority of advisors out there. We know that from a Broadridge survey that found that 75% of advisors report having no defined marketing plan, meaning they're basically doing what you just said of random marketing throughout the year, sending out communication pieces, maybe without, a real strategy behind it, maybe posting on social media every so often, putting on an event now and again. But they haven't sat down and actually thought out a plan. And we know from that survey and just, from working with advisors for many years that those without a plan are way less confident in reaching their practice growth goals for the year. Less than 50% of advisors who don't have a plan, marketing plan built out in January, do not feel confident that they're going to reach their goals. On the other hand, the small percentage of advisors who do report having a marketing plan, 75% of them feel confident that they're going to, reach their goals for the year. So we can see that there is a direct, correlation between that confidence and feeling that you're going to achieve what you want to achieve for the year and having that plan in place. So it's one of those things where, it takes time to sit down, create a marketing plan and decide what you're going to do for the year. But it clearly pays off for the advisors who are, taking that time at the end of the year or in January to really decide how they want to market their business for the year.
Yeah, it's a stark, the stark results that from the Broadridge survey. They've done it a couple of years in a row now, and it more or less hasn't moved. It's like 3 in 4 advisors, no real defined marketing strategy. And then when you look at the ones who do, they have massive success and massive levels of confidence that they're going to meet their business growth goals. So of course we look at that here at Horsesmouth and are like, damn it, advisors need to do more. This is what we're all about. This is why we're here. This is why we're here every month, talking to advisors about, their monthly marketing plan and what they should be doing this month and in the coming months. Because if you take the time out to do it and it's not a heavy lift, you'll see results. So let's talk. What are some of the common challenges, Devin, that's holding people back in marketing?
So again, these are some things that were reported in that survey, but I mean, we've also, worked with advisors on this topic for many years. And I think we see the same challenges come up when meeting with compliance. I would say the number one thing we see is advisors saying, I don't really have the time to sit down and do a marketing plan. I'm so busy reaching out to my clients, creating financial plans, doing other things for the business that I just don't have the time to sit down and start a marketing plan. And I think often a lot of that comes from the fear of not knowing where to start with a marketing plan, because it can be intimidating if you've never come up with a full strategy before to sit down and do that. And that's why, at least in our advisor client program, we have a whole boot camp session and tools and templates that help our advisors kind of walk through creating a marketing plan so they know where to start and can get over kind of that initial fear. But if that's something that's been holding you back, I think it's really important just to, schedule time in your calendar like you would schedule time to meet with a client, where you're really saying, okay, on Fridays for the next month, I'm going to dedicate 2 hours to creating my marketing plan and making sure that that's all set up and ready to go.
Yeah. I think, that's kind of critical. So, all right. So what are the key elements? What should people be thinking about if they're going to pull together their marketing plan?
Right. So as I was saying, it can be, intimidating to start from fresh if you've never created a marketing plan before. And so there are a couple of different areas I think you want to keep in mind and consider when you're creating that marketing strategy. And number one, and I think that this is a really important aspect of your marketing plan, is communication touches. We know, again, from various surveys that have been done, that advisors who reach out to their clients multiple times throughout the year with a communication, have happier clients who refer more. They're top of mind with prospects. It just works from a marketing perspective. So having communication touches planned for the year, at least one a month, whether that's a monthly newsletter that you send out, a communication touch, something like a white paper or an article you've written, a video, something like that, where you're hitting your list at least once a month with some sort of communication from you on various financial topics, reminding clients and prospects and COIs of the different topics that you can help them with, is hugely impactful and important to your marketing plan. It's one of kind of the easiest ways I think you can get started. And something that, if you're not sure where to start, just planning out those communication touches for the year can put you in a pretty good position.
Yeah, I was interviewing Debbie Taylor yesterday for the Savvy Tax Planning newsletter, and we were talking about client tax planning over the course of the year. And I'm sorry, I have a little four-legged child that is like dashed into the room after coming back from his walk. My apologies. Debbie pulled out her communications touch calendar. It's part of her client service. Baked in from the get-go, I think she has more than 30 touches, because she's reminding clients throughout the year about IRA conversions, or opening up 529s, or maxing out your 401k, or it's a whole range of things that people need to be reminded about, that either you, the advisor, are doing for them, or that they need to be doing themselves at the urging of the advisor. And like I said, she's got 30, I think, it's like 30 things baked in. So touches throughout the year. And, those touches are reinforcing your value to your clients, and which, is among, in a minute, we'll talk about referral strategies, but that's definitely, the touch is critical. 12 minimum, really.
I'd say 24 should be the minimum, but yeah. 12 minimum, 24. Let's shoot for that for everyone, I think.
I think so too. Okay, what about the next item?
So next we have events, and that's kind of a split between educational events, where you're doing, a workshop or a webinar educating clients and prospects on different topics. And then we also have more social or kind of client appreciation events, kind of baked in there too. If you've been on our monthly marketing meetings before, or any of our other live streams, that we're always, pushing advisors to really be financial educators, to get out in their community, to be educating clients and prospects on different financial topics. It's one of the best ways to be building your business. And so when we look at, educational events for the year, again, you want to be scheduling those regularly throughout the year, so you always have something to invite prospects too. And you don't want to forget about inviting your clients to those events too, because we worked with a group of advisors in our webinar coaching group last year, and many of them had record number of referrals that year, because they were inviting clients to their events. Their clients were seeing them present on these various topics, and then saying, you really need to talk to my neighbor, my brother, my friend. And they were getting record numbers of referrals just from presenting to their clients, and saying you can invite people along, or put people in touch with me if this would be of interest to them. So we want to think about different educational events, topics that are always kind of popular: Social Security, taxes, retirement planning. Those are kind of always hot educational topics for the kind of the pre-retiree niche. And then of course there's other topics you could do as well: college planning, long-term care, things like that too. And then your social
year in review. Also.
The year in review, which is coming soon. Right. For advisor, client, and master members. They'll be able to present that, which will give an overview of last year and planning actions for 2022.
The other thing to keep in mind, both about educational events and the communication touches is we are coming off of 3 very positive years in the market. And we saw what happened in the market yesterday, major, pullback. Why? Because, the Fed, as they say, is going to be pulling away the punch bowl. And everybody knows this is coming. It's been coming. And, this could be a rocky year. I mean, there's, on the one hand, there's this, and the other hand, there's that. And on the other hand, there is just cause for, caution, right? And so if we have, an ongoing rocky year, and Debbie was pointing out that the 5%, pullback in the markets, is an historic low. It's normally, we had 5% pullback that hard. It's usually a much bigger pullback and it lasts for longer. Instead, we just keep getting these 5% pullbacks and the market keeps bouncing back. The question is that going to happen or not? And the point that I'm making is the communication touches, the educational events, really critical in terms of, keeping clients with you, keeping them feeling, like they're safe and secure, even as the market has a bad year after coming off of 3 years. And it's your opportunity to, by communicating with them through any possible, downdrafts of the market, that pays off in the long term. And so that's why the touches are important. That's why the educational events are important. And that brings us to the next item, which is going to be maybe slightly problematic. I'm not sure. Devin, what do you think?
The social client appreciation events, we found ourselves kind of back in the same situation, where we have, an ongoing pandemic with a highly contagious variant, where people might not feel as comfortable getting together in person, but that doesn't mean that you can't have social and client appreciation events. We've seen advisors pivot to virtual formats for those, with some success doing kind of more fun things like a virtual wine tasting, or trivia or something fun like that. So there is a way that you can achieve it if you don't feel that meeting in person works for you. There are kind of creative ways you can get together virtually too. But I do agree that's going to be a little bit tougher, at least for the next kind of few winter months, depending on where you are in the country, if you can do things outside or inside. But keep it on the table. Things for the summer where you can be outside might be better. But you want to be thinking about that as you're creating your plan too.
Yep. Good. And what about referral marketing strategies? What should we be thinking about on that front?
So referral marketing should always be part of your marketing plan as well. And, first thing that comes to mind there is working with centers of influence in your community. So CPAs, attorneys, forming those relationships and, having a referral relationship with them. Our advisors who are master members or part of advisor client have access to educational presentations they can put on for CPAs, which allows them to grant CPAs 1 hour of CPE credit for attending. That's always a big hit with CPAs and a great way to build that relationship rather than just inviting them to lunch or coffee or a virtual Zoom meeting, which they get requests for all the time. You can really differentiate yourself by educating them. And it's the quickest way to build trust with CPAs. So that is something I would consider if you want to really build out that COI relationship, is thinking about how you can provide educational value to them to let them know that you can help their clients on these topics as well.
Yeah. And again, on the referral front, back at the beginning of the pandemic in 2020, the huge thing we saw that year was people pivoting away from educational events with prospects and instead turning inward to their practice and into their existing client base, holding events, educational events for their clients, being more solicitous of them and inviting them to these educational events. And what happened? Boom, record referrals from many advisors in 2020 because they were out there in the fray, communicating with touches, putting on educational events, putting on client appreciation events as well. And all that stuff feeds into the referral marketing river, so to speak. And people had great results. And so I don't think we necessarily need a pandemic or a national crisis or a market pullback for people to benefit from the power of those specific tactics as part of your marketing strategy, right? Putting on the educational events, having the touches, having the social events, it all comes together, and it builds momentum, builds credibility, builds loyalty, and that is what you want. So Devin, that brings us to the last item of what people should be thinking about in their marketing plan. And what is that?
And that is digital marketing. And that's actually one of the common challenges we see with why people don't have a marketing plan too, is it has to do with digital marketing and not knowing where to start or what technology to use. And digital marketing, is a broad term these days. Almost everything we do from our marketing perspective is digital, right? If you're sending out email communication touches, that's digital. If you're doing webinars, that's digital. But one thing that I think advisors should focus on for 2022 is making sure that your website is really ready to go and up to snuff, because any sort of digital marketing that you do after that, whether it's social media or lead generation or even webinars, you're directing people back to that website. And I can't tell you how many websites we've gone through of advisors where they are missing, key aspects to really communicate what they do for their clients on their website. It doesn't differentiate them. It doesn't list, events that they're putting on. And so I think before you get into more of the advanced digital marketing strategies around social media advertising or things like that, you really want to make sure that your website is something that you're proud of and put some work into that this year, so that whenever you're, spending money on digital marketing advertising in any way, you're pushing people back to a site that really shows your business off and lets them know, what you can do for them.
Definitely. Okay, so now we're moving into the part of the program where we discussed a little bit more about Horsesmouth's turnkey marketing program, advisor client. What's on tap for them this month?
Yeah, so I do want to mention, everything that we just mentioned that should be part of a marketing plan. We do a 4-part series, an advisor client, called our boot camp every December. If you are an advisor client member or you join, now, you still can watch those on demand and go through and create your own marketing plan, with all of the touches that we have built into advisor client for you. So if you want an easy way to create your marketing plan, that is something that you can do this year and have done, in 4 hours or less. And then I do also want to make it mention that our key financial data card, which we've talked about before, Doug, if you could pull that up, great, it's right there. That's been finalized for 2022. We were waiting to see if there were going to be any tax changes with Build Back Better. There's nothing before the end of the year, so that is final at this point. We're starting to print all of that as well. This is a great card. Again, should be one of your communication touches in your marketing plan that we we're just talking about. Also great for referral marketing, sending this to CPAs. CPAs absolutely love this card. It has all of the key numbers that they need to know for the year. It's personalized with your information. So every time they look at it, they're reminded of who sent it to them. And it's just a really, really great card. We have a couple of campaigns in advisor client built around it. We have, cover letters that you can send out via email or snail mail. I do recommend getting hard copies of this to send out, because it is a really great piece that people will, keep on their desk or put on their bulletin board and look at constantly. We also have a lead generation campaign around it, where if you want to really, go on social media and create a lead gen campaign or have this on your website to build your email list, we have that built out in advisor client as well. So all you have to do is kind of personalize it and get it up on your website ready to go.
Yeah, this is a great thing. Again, speaking of referrals and keeping yourself visible, both to your clients, this is kind of falls under our heading of bulletin board marketing, this kind of thing that people will near their desk at home where they're paying their bills and figuring out their taxes. Some people really love to have this sort of thing right up on the bulletin board. And of course, we know that CPAs and accountants particularly love to see key data. It's really, every year more and more advisors are sending it out, and it's just, it's a fabulous resource, and it is branded, so it is delivering value to whomever is receiving it. And in addition, they're seeing your photo, your logo, your contact information. So it's yet another great touch. So yeah, okay. So what else is happening in Advisor Client this month?
And I forgot to mention too, along with this card for advisor client and master members, we also have a client action webinar that goes along with the key financial data card. So if you wanted to put on, a quick webinar for your clients, just kind of walking them through the key numbers for the year, we have that ready to go for you. So that might be something you might be interested in doing this month. Just again, another one of those, touches, educational events that we were talking about in your marketing plan, you can do fairly easily. It's ready to go for you. You can send out the card, have them follow along. Just a good way to give your clients kind of an overview of 2022, what they should be thinking about from a financial perspective.
Yeah, these action webinars are, meant to be, short and sweet and to the point. You're delivering value. Sometimes you're walking. We call it an action webinar because sometimes you're walking them through a particular tool that we've given you to give to them that promotes interaction and business, and sometimes it's more informational. So Devin was saying, yes, it was an action webinar associated with this, something that you definitely want to think about putting on your event list. And by the way, I should mention, Devin, it's also that the action webinar should be a great option for the people in our advanced financial educator marketing coaching program. We haven't mentioned that yet. It kind of starts, kind of kicks off a little bit on Friday, but we get into the serious part of it next week. So there's still time for new people to get into it. It's for master members. And this is a program where over the next 90 days, we're going to be sure that you develop, sort of deeper financial educator marketing plan for the year, where you're really embracing deeply the putting on of events and educating the public. And action webinars, of course, are part of that. That's another option as well when we're talking about topics and things that people can do in the first quarter. So Doug, if you can put up a link to the Advanced Financial Educator Program, you can go to horsesmouth.com/FE coach. You'll find out all about that, and we're getting going at a serious level starting next week. All right, Devin, what else do we got?
Just another kind of announcement for advisor client and master members is that our marketing calendar for the year is up and live and ready to go. For those who are, not sure what that means, basically in our advisor client program and for our master members, we decided last year that we are going to take away, some of the challenges with creating a marketing plan, and we created a marketing calendar for our members with, 2 to 3 communication touches scheduled for each month, as well as with a prospecting educational event, one of our flagship presentations, and maybe a client action webinar thrown in there. So again, for our members who don't have time to create their own marketing plan or don't want to start from scratch, we've created a lot of it for you. So you can just go in, personalize and download, follow the monthly themes, and kind of have this comprehensive plan where you're sending out regular communications and you're presenting to your clients and prospects on a regular basis on different topics. So those are ready on the advisor client website in the master member hub, where you can go ahead and take a look at, what's scheduled for you for the entire year. Get that set up now so you're not scrambling every month, and you'll be ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, that's a turnkey aspect of the advisor client program. Like Devin said, it is teed up for you. You can modify it, adjust it however you please. But if you're in the program, you're there, you can download it, and it literally tells you and your team what to be doing this month and what to be doing next month. And it just goes like that. We meet on a regular monthly basis, like we're meeting today. And you just need to do that with yourself and your staff. And you'll be part of that elite group, that 25% who have a defined marketing strategy and who get the benefits from it. So give that some serious consideration, folks. And Devin, so what else? What do we have looking ahead to February?
Right. So we always like to look, 30 days out when we're doing these so you can plan ahead. And based on that marketing calendar that I was just mentioning, our theme for February is financial organization. So we have a reprint that we actually recommend advisors send out every year. We try to vary. Most of the reprints that we use, our article reprints, are FINRA reviewed articles on different financial topics that you can personalize with your information. But this is one that we actually recommend that advisors send every year because it walks your clients through making sure that all of their financial documents and information is organized at the beginning of the year. It again has spaces for them to write things out, reminds them of where to look for certain things, make sure that they have, updated their beneficiary forms, things like that, actions that need to be done every year to make sure that their financial health is looking good. So that's the reprint for the month. But then we also have a handout that goes along with that. It's our financial fitness checklist. This is another great piece. It's about 50 questions or so where they can just go through and check off things that have changed or they anticipate changing this year, and then schedule a meeting with you to discuss. And as I was mentioning, the client action webinar for key financial data earlier, we also have a client action webinar for this checklist. This is a great way to make sure that your clients are actually going through that checklist and filling it out. And then you can have the call to action at the end to schedule that meeting with you, by putting a link in the chat or a way for them to easily do that. So you can be scheduling those meetings for the beginning of the year to discuss any changes that happened last year, anything that they see coming this year, and just kind of touch base at this point in the year. That's a really important checklist to send out. It covers, health, retirement, work. There's a ton of topics there that are really beneficial to clients and prospects.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we got it all for you there. So you want to stay in the game, you want to have a great year, be sure to get advisor client going, get that as part of your marketing engine. Join us with the Advanced Financial Educator Marketing Coaching Group as well if you really want to take a deep dive into that aspect of building business as well. So I guess that kind of wraps things up for January. Welcome back, everybody, and we'll see you next month.
Thanks.
Take care.